This is the Magic Our Way podcast. They're a cut above the rest, bub. You're the best there is at what you do. And what you do is pretty nice.
Jumbo, everyone.
Harambe.
And welcome to another edition of
The Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
The Magic Our Way podcast.
They are truly magical and whatnot.
Asante Sana, everyone. You're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana. And on this show, we invite you to feel the libations.
Feel it.
We are artistic buffs and not artistic cream puffs. This is a show in which every opinion is welcome. MagicOurWay.com is where you can find us. For this show, it's time for a movie review. We discuss Deadpool and Wolverine, the latest offering of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And look, this isn't your typical polish, practice, pixie dust, and Disney podcast. No way. We are not in the parks every day letting you know about the massive size of the new Deadpool and Wolverine chimichanga over at Disney California Adventure.
That's right, Kev. We're just here to drink, talk some Disney, and get back at it like a crack addict.
And you listeners have the easy part. All you guys have to do is listen up to what we think up while we drink up.
My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
I'm Eli.
And Rachel is on vacation on a lovely Royal Caribbean cruise with
Lucky.
her friend.
Time,
It's a little away time from the family, so I hope she's having a great time right now.
Yes.
Researching trips so she can tell you
That's
what
right.
is good.
Product knowledge, as they call it, you know?
Yes.
And then she could book that royal vacation with you. If you book through her, a little bit of that comes back and helps us.
A lot.
But we have a special guest, very special guest. Who are you, sir?
If you heard last week's podcast, I'm Emmy's brother. I'm Kelly. I am the chef in the family. I'm a businessman. And I haven't been heard since the podcast where I made fun of Steven Tyler, the lead singer of Aerosmith.
Yeah, we did get a cease and desist over that, and he demanded that you go off the show for about 3 years. So it's got it in right under the wire.
Statute of limitation.
But he deserved to be taken down a peg or two. He's kind of
Yeah,
full
he's
of
just a little
himself.
full of it, yeah.
And I got my punch in. He got his. So.
But we took that lick for you. That's why I wanted you back. So there you go.
Yeah, but this is chefy. I know Danny's mentioned that on the show, and then it's like at some point we're going to do some kind of Disney food show.
Oh, yeah.
With Kelly. I know we've been talking about it off and on here and there, so one day that'll happen. But we also have Captain Cajun coming on the show, but we'll introduce him later on the hub. He wants to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine and all the Marvel things. You know, he loves it all.
Yes.
And look, the easiest way to support us is to book a vacation with Rachel, and a little piece of that comes back to support us. Also, the second easiest way is to leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts and or wherever you access our show. Also, be sure to like and subscribe, as well as turn on those notifications so you never miss an episode of the Magic Our Way podcast. And look, y'all, of course, it is the end of July, and we have to start promoting this because it's just right around the corner, and I am talking about my weekend fantasy football leagues,
Yep.
of which we currently have two.
Yes.
Both paid not for a lot of money.
Nope.
Very, very cheap. I think it was what, $20 is the
$20 a
buy-in?
person.
Yeah.
And so it creates a little pot for something, you know, to keep it worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you have a lot of fun. You get to play against us. You know, we're in both leagues, and you get to draft. You get to hang out with us at the draft party on your particular day that we draft. We put up a Zoom room, all kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Rachel did really well in her first year, especially her first year.
Really
of the
well.
show.
She won the whole
She
thing.
won the whole thing.
Against her husband.
And she didn't even want to do it. And then she got so into it, she won the entire thing.
And poor Josh has been in it for a while.
Yes.
And his wife just comes in and just sweeps it up.
Just demolished them.
But good on Rachel for that. It was great.
Yeah. You got to keep it in the stable.
Keep it amongst the hosts.
Yes.
As a host, I have to root for one of my fellow hosts to win.
Absolutely.
Because that's
Exactly.
what it happens when you play. You're going to play against the hosts of the Magic Our Way podcast. We're in every league.
Yes.
Yeah, we might have 2 leagues, and we'll extend to 3, 4, however many we need to.
Yeah, if we get
But
a lot, we'll do
the
it.
4 of us will be in every league.
Yes.
And so you have a chance to beat us.
Yes.
Take all of this
Talk
down.
trash.
We talk
all that.
trash. We talk trash back to you. I know I've done that plenty of games. So yeah, we've had fans that have gone on and won glory as well. So it can be done. It's just not easy.
Got a private Facebook group where you can chat with all the members in the league and stuff for that particular season. All kind of stuff, man. So look, we'll be making more announcements about this. If you're interested, Captain Cajun Kirk will be usually does an organization of all the people, members, and stuff.
Yes.
So please reach out to us on Facebook or
text us. Reach out to us. Whoever.
Yeah.
Just let us know you want to join, and you've got a spot.
So enough of our jibber jabber. It's time to make the chimichangas. Welcome to the Hub, our main topic segment of the show. And for this Hub, it is time for a movie review.
Yeah.
Yes.
Woo! We discuss the next installment of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Deadpool and Wolverine.
I love when we don't have to come up with a topic on our own.
Oh, it's awesome.
Nice.
Yes, this is Disney Marvel's offering for the 2024 summer season, whose official date of release in the United States was on Friday, July 26, 2024. And there are many different ways to describe this movie. All of them have been short, at least official releases. So I'm going to just give you all to them right now, just so you can get an idea of what this story is all about. The first one. In the film, the Time Variance Authority pulls Deadpool from his quiet life and sets him on a mission to save his universe, partnering with a reluctant Wolverine from another universe in the process. End quote. The second description goes like this, and I quote, Wolverine is recovering from his injuries when he crosses paths with the loudmouth Deadpool. They team up to defend a common enemy. End quote. These are kind of lame, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the third one, and I quote, a listless Wade Wilson tolls away in civilian life with his days as the morally flexible mercenary Deadpool behind him, but when his homeworld faces an existential threat, Wade must reluctantly suit up again with an even more reluctant Wolverine.
That sounds
End
terrible.
quote.
All right, let's just be honest here. Let's stop with all that.
Yes.
When you call a movie Deadpool and Wolverine, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
If you're not going to go see that, it doesn't matter what that little intro says.
Little blurb.
Can I review the intros?
Check them out.
Yeah, I was trying to find, like, usually, with all these movie reviews, I find, like, the official, here's the studio release of whatever they describe the movie. And I'm like, what the hell? There's, like, barely anything. But yeah, to your point, Danny, yeah, that's, the title says it all, but at the same time, it's like, Bonanza gave us the official clue.
If you're not drawn in by that title, then this is not the movie for you.
No.
Yeah.
That's it.
Now, I think they wanted to originally call it Deadpool and Friend. I'd heard that, and then they
And
realized,
Friend?
yeah, a long time ago, there was like a, it was like a, it made
Yeah,
its own Super
I
Bowl
heard that
commercial.
too. It's going to be
Yeah,
called
so I
My
heard.
Two Mutants.
You gotta take care of a baby mutant. Which one is mine? I don't know who's the
Yeah,
mine.
3 mutants and the baby. That was
that's
another
right.
title that was thrown around.
That's right, multiple man,
Right.
totally in there. So, so maybe they didn't have good enough press, but yeah, it's in the title. Literally, you know
It
what
is.
you're gonna get.
And look, before we begin, can I just say that it is great to be able to review a Deadpool movie confidently as a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes.
Yes.
We have reviewed 2 previous movies in the past, but we've always stated in those movie reviews that it wasn't part of the MCU, but it is Marvel.
Right.
Disney owns Marvel. And so now we can I don't have to worry about that anymore.
I know.
Here
Yeah.
it is. This is pretty awesome, right?
No, huh?
Very awesome. It really kind of sat home with me when I saw Deadpool and Wolverine in Avengers Campus
Mm-hmm.
at California Adventure. That's when I was like, oh, wow, they really are part of this now. I didn't even think about that.
I wish I was in the park so I could just at least witness that.
Yeah. Same
check
here.
that out.
I want to see how long that goes for.
Yeah, I'd be curious myself.
I would hope that it goes on for a while.
I do too.
So look, as usual with our movie reviews, we will present the review in 2 parts, a non-spoiler version and a spoiler-filled version. As always, we will give you ample warning before going into the spoil-filled part.
Mm.
And of course, we shall begin, and to kick us off is our Marvel expert guru, if you will, Eli of ivorcomics.com. What you got, E? What do you think of this movie?
Yeah, I was gonna say, look, the title grabs you. It has to. I'm a huge fan of buddy action movies. That's just been my jam for a long time. So the best I can put it is, it gives me this old school 48 hours kind of
There you go.
vibe.
Sure.
I did enjoy the surprises, if you will, throughout the movie. As a comic fan, that was very nice and reassuring to see. I had good fun with that. But if somebody has seen any Deadpool movie before, just if you're looking for, gravitas and pathos and long speeches that
Melos.
oh yes, this ain't for you. But that should not deter you from having to see this movie, because I feel at least it's a very ambitious step that they took, and I'll take that over the cliches anytime. So I give it a good thumbs up.
Good
A
thumbs
minus, if you will.
A minus. Oh,
Yeah.
you're already going to a grade.
Oh yeah, well, I was thinking about the Coke, but then I was thinking, well, we have to explain all the different
No,
Coke, right?
the Coke thing was stupid from the get-go.
You didn't like the Coke?
No, I never liked the Coke.
the original Coke.
You never explained the Coke rating system.
Man, we should have
It
worked.
was just
on
like,
it.
I give this a Coke 0.
Like a new Coke.
Is that a bad
New
Coke?
Coke.
Is
Diet
that
Coke.
a good Coke? I don't.
Yeah,
Coke
Classic
sugar-free.
Coke
Yeah.
classic.
yeah. But I know grades are subject to change. That's happened to us before. But yeah, that's what I would lead it off with.
Okay.
Mhm.
Good. So, Danny, what do you think?
I'd almost forgotten what it was like to watch a good Marvel movie. You know, what worked about this movie worked really well, and what didn't work didn't really matter because this movie knew how to play to its strengths and hide its flaws. Kind of similar to the last Marvel movie that I enjoyed watching in the theater, Spider-Man No Way Home. It just goes to show, give fans the characters they love, played by the actors who brought them to life, bring the humor without getting too silly, mix in the emotional without getting too sappy, and throw in a lot of fan service with cameos, nostalgia, dream moments, and it doesn't even matter if the story is held together by popsicle sticks and scotch tape. The audience is having too much fun to notice. And that's what makes this movie work to me. They knew what the fans wanted to see and what they didn't want to see, and they delivered exactly to that market. They didn't worry about whether or not you were going to catch the jokes because there was no chance that you were going to catch all those. Even if you were a huge Marvel fan, you were going to catch maybe 95% of the jokes at best, but they were coming so fast and furious. Now, the downside to all that is that if you've only been a fan of the Deadpool movies and haven't kept up with the other Marvel movies, both from Disney and Fox, plus the Loki television series, the comics,
All
the
of it,
failed
yeah.
reboots, canceled movies, internet rumors, and just pop culture in general, then you're going to miss about 90% of the references, and the whole movie is going to seem like one big gigantic joke that you're not in on. And that's a legit criticism of this movie. What makes it great is also its greatest weakness. There is an over-reliance on humor and cameos and fan service to mask the fact that the story is completely nonsensical. Like, seriously, it seemed like every 10 minutes, just as I started to question, wait a minute, why is that happening right now? Because I don't know why that character would do that. Then some amazing cameo or some dream fight would happen, and I'd be like, oh, hell with that. This is awesome. And I'd be right back in the movie again. So, yeah, in one word, it was fun. This movie was fun. It did exactly what it set out to do and never aimed to be anything other than that. So I really enjoyed this movie. And since Eli was so bold as to go ahead and already throw out a grade, I don't know about doing A, B, C, D. Like, it just seems like only 5. I would go with this is a solid 8, maybe even bordering on a 9 out of 10.
10 being the
Number?
best and
Yeah.
one. Okay.
The only thing that holds me back from it is the fact that this is not something that you could just show a non-Marvel fan, be like, here, this is going to make you want to watch. It's going to be like, no, I don't understand half of the references.
Right. Yeah.
More than half, really.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, I enjoyed this movie, although I felt like there was so much in there that I missed that, yes, I will go back and see this again,
Oh, yeah.
even before it goes to like TV or streaming or whatever else. Just because, you know, I love Deadpool. If you listen to the show long enough, you know, I'm a huge fan of that particular character. And I'm just entertained at the fact that he's there. He's in existence. And double it up with Wolverine. I mean, come on. I'm done. But yeah, there was just so many. I feel like almost every 5 seconds there's like something that I probably missed. Just because to Danny's point, it comes flying at you. You know, it's like a bunch of nuts just flying at you. It's the craziest thing ever. And so I want to see. I caught most of it, but there was some stuff that I just couldn't. I have to let that one go past me. I'll come back to that one later.
Sorry, I'm just
The nuts,
caught up in the middle image of the nuts
That's
flying
fine.
at Kevin's head.
Yeah, no, you catch what you can. But look, I was like that. There you go.
That's the great attitude, man. You catch what you can.
Maximum effort.
I love the fact that when he started this movie right off the bat, he said this was going to be a Deadpool movie. Even though it's with Disney, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
Because like the opening sequence, and you know how if you watch the Deadpool movies, you know you can expect this opening sequence, some kind of fight sequence, and this was no exception. It was I didn't expect to go like that, and I was like, oh Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you pay attention the
Oh, it
first
does.
5-10 minutes.
But I was laughing at the same time because of the song that was behind it, as well as what he was using for weapons.
Yes.
I was just like, oh my God, seriously?
Yes.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I totally enjoy this movie. This is nice to be able to have a Marvel movie again that I just had fun at.
Yes.
I don't know how much it moves, whatever. There's really no story that's going on in the cinematic universe at the moment, so I can't really piggyback on whether or not moves any of that forward because it's just been so discombobulated. But in and of itself, I'm good, man. I'm pretty happy with the Deadpool 3 in its essence, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
And I'll go back and see it again. As far as grades, I would give it maybe A minus, only because there were some parts where I felt were a little slow.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into details right now in the non-spoiler section, but I was just like, okay, where are we going here? It's like, what's happening? And then something would happen, and to Danny's point, it's like, okay, I'm cool. But then it's like something else would happen, and I was like, okay, what's going on here? So there was moments of like, I guess, pause, or as if you're on a Disney ride, moments like if you're on Small World and all of a sudden there's a backup of boats, it just stops. And you're just sitting there just watching, and then it moves again, and then you're sitting there just watching. It's that kind of a feeling when I was watching. But overall, I thoroughly enjoyed it, especially when we got to the third act. I was good.
Not a
That
bad
was good.
analogy.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if I gave it numbers like Danny, I'll give it about an 8 or 9. Yeah, absolutely.
Easy.
All right, Kelly.
All right.
You're a professional reviewer, so we're expecting some really dazzling stuff happening here.
And you're going to get it.
I'd
You're
like to
going to
hear-
get it.
That's what I'd like to hear.
So, the movie started out like usual Deadpool movies do. There's a what's going on here? We're in this present moment, and he's telling you this story, and then there's a conflict that goes on. That's where the movie starts. And then there's a flashback, and then how do we get here kind of moment, right?
Through his ass.
Through his ass.
That's safe to say. That's not spoiler because you got to expect Deadpool's ass is going to show up in this movie.
I think it's in commercials too, right?
Yes.
There was
Yes.
a lot of ass.
Yes.
And a lot of discussion of things going in and out of said ass. But
Yes.
Yes.
That's not a spoiler. That's an ass.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Straight
So,
up ass.
like Eli said, there's no long speeches. There's just every other word, every other statement is just a one-liner, typical Deadpool antics. And he makes fun of 21st Century Fox. He makes fun of Disney. He makes fun of Marvel. No one is safe in this Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disney even too.
I know.
No,
This is
yeah.
so amazing.
Just like Eli, Danny said, Uncle Danny said, just
Aw.
a bunch of, yeah. I know.
Don't say Uncle Danny. They'll know there's nepotism involved here. Danny's fine.
Just like that man to my right said.
This guy.
Just like Danny said, there's just a bunch of random going on at all times. It doesn't matter what's going on at all. It just works together, no matter how goofy it gets.
Mm-hmm.
The best way I could really describe it is it's just like an ADHD superhero lucid dream.
Yes. Yes.
That's what's going on.
That's a
Just like,
very good way to describe it.
It's
Yeah.
a fever dream.
I like that. I like
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
and if you want to know what that's like, go see Deadpool and Wolverine in theaters now.
Yeah. Now.
Now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't worry about grades and nothing. Now you see it now.
No,
I like
yeah. Well,
that.
I am curious. What would your grade be? Like, you could do it A through F or 1 through 10.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Nah, C's make degrees. No, but this is much higher than a C. In my opinion, this is not, well, I don't even remember what happened in the second movie, so it's better than the second movie.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie, if it was made first, probably wouldn't be made better than the first movie that was, but I feel like it would come hand in hand with the first movie.
Mhm.
It's really good, very well, it's an ADHD lucid dream. I don't know if I could say it's well made, but it's
Yes.
very funny. And that's what it set out to do, and that's what it did. And I think the movie 9.5.
9
Yeah,
or
there you go.
9.5.
Nice.
High praise.
I think it goes hand in hand with the first movie, and it's just really good. I couldn't really think of a moment in that movie where I was not laughing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree. Even though there's parts where I said it was like maybe it felt a little slow, but like seconds later, I was just guffawing.
Exactly.
Or I was just like, oh my god, just saying stuff like that.
Like, how did they get there? Oh man, yeah, it kept you engaged in that weird way without, like I said, like the whole plot, what was going on. It's just like, ooh wee, shiny stuff.
Yeah,
yeah. The chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool and Hugh Jackson's Wolverine was really the backbone of the movie.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
I would say,
And that's actually what really surprised me. I thought Hugh Jackman, being the serious role of the Wolverine that he is, he would kind of tear it down and be like, the adult in a child film, right? He would be the, hey, you can't do this, you can't say that, and all that, be the moderator of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But he was funny too. Like,
yeah.
he didn't even have to say words. He just did.
yeah.
He just cleared his throat a little bit and he made you laugh. Like, he's spot on.
It was great. Yeah. Even that twist on the whole, straight man, buffoon man.
Yes.
Kind of comedy duo, like Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello, that kind of stuff, which I thought they did great.
Yeah. And they did it without making Wolverine too goofy or Deadpool too serious. They managed to remain true to both characters. And so they got the best of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't feel overdone like Dawn of Justice or nothing like that.
And it didn't even feel like these are two actors playing Wolverine and Deadpool. It felt like these are two actors who embody Wolverine. Like, I can't even picture anybody else playing these two characters.
No doubt.
Me neither.
Yeah,
they get it. They get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be playing till he's 90.
Until he's 90.
And it also goes to show that tried and true formula, that buddy cop, or maybe not even buddy cop, but just that buddy comedy movie, that still works.
Yeah.
It still works very well, as long as it's well done.
They kind of touched upon it in Deadpool 2, right? With the Cable buddy cop thing, but they didn't commit fully like they did this one.
Right.
I felt, which is why I thought this worked much better than the second one.
Well, I mean, Cable is just, I'm sorry, he just doesn't have that Wolverine status. I mean, as much as Josh Brolin brooded and tried to look serious and did a good job at it, it's not the same thing as that's Wolverine.
Yes, that is Wolverine.
That's an icon, pretty much.
No doubt. All right, Captain Cajun, fantasy football man, the other Marvel comic guru, if you will, down the bayou. You can hear the crickets. You can hear Tiana singing.
Oh, yeah.
That big fat ass horn playing alligator sitting right outside.
He just won't stop.
He won't stop.
He won't stop. That motherfucker keeps playing all night.
Tell us stop. Oh, man.
I'm out here thinking some of are always trying to ice skate up a hill or something.
Yes.
All right, sir. What do you think of this movie? You saw this the day we recorded.
Yes.
So you're fresh. You're the most fresh out of all of us.
Fresh. And I paired what Danny said. One thing about this movie, it's fun. It's like turn your brain off, have a good time. Especially if you know the comics and the prior Fox movies and everything. Just have a good time. It's fun. It's all kind of fan service. Sometimes too much fan service is bad. Not in this one.
No.
I mean, I love the fan service. I was watching the comic references and the images and stuff they were showing, and great. I could care less how this fits into the greater MCU. I don't care.
You were fan service to completion.
I was serviced. I was serviced all over the place.
Yeah,
good. Fat ass.
On your face, neck, and chest.
Oh, good.
One of the things I didn't like, first off, like Danny said, you really have to have watched everything. Well, a few things prior to this to get it. The Loki series mainly.
Yeah.
And then there were some times, like Kevin said, it was slowed down. Like a few times where you had the music montage in the background and it's slowing down with the music. I kind of was over that by the last one. Like, come on, okay, get on with the damn show. But anyway, let's get to the spoilers. I give it a 9.5, just like Kel did. Let's get on to the spoilers. Let's get to the good stuff.
Wait. Can we at least talk a little bit, like, non-spoilery about what didn't work?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Let's give a little taste to people who haven't seen it, who might be on the fence. Let's talk a little bit about what didn't work.
Okay.
In the movie, without spoiling it too much, and then we'll jump right into spoilers. Because, I know we're all raring to get there, but
I'm trying to think of a way to do it where it's not spoiler. Like, I know that didn't work, and this didn't work.
I will say, again, what we said earlier, this is not Guardians of the Galaxy or Black Panther. This isn't a movie you show to a non-fan to get them interested in the MCU.
Correct.
At times, it almost comes across as kind of like a a parody movie, kind of like Spaceballs or Tropic Thunder or something like it. It almost comes
Tropic Thunder.
Yes, it's as if it's a parody of a Marvel movie as opposed to being an actual movie.
Yeah.
So that would be, but I think that's already been stated. I just wanted to make that clear that this is something that you really have. I can hear the snakes slithering in Kirk's backyard as we speak.
Are you outside, Kirk?
I am outside.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
I got to pick up the slack for the leave, bro.
Thank you.
I got no airplanes over here, but I'll give you all those cicadas you want.
I don't know.
That's fair.
I don't know if you haven't been told, but Lee was pruned from this timeline, sir.
Hey, he's in the void somewhere.
Yeah.
His ass waxed.
No variance. There's no variance.
Yeah, there's no variance on that. But anyway, sorry.
All right, let's start off. Okay, let's try and start off real. The villains were fine, but aside from one of them having some pretty gnarly powers, there was nothing really overly
kind of weak.
Yeah.
They're kind of weak, man. I don't know.
Their motivations were questionable, to say the least, and we'll get into that when we get into spoilers. But yeah, even the motivations for Deadpool and Wolverine I thought were weak. But both characters were charismatic enough that you didn't really care. I mean, their motivations, though, were highly questionable to me. And ultimately, it seemed kind of senseless. But it worked for those two characters. For the villains, not so much. No. I'll give you another one that kind of bugged me. That's too much of that damn ugly dog. And that shouldn't be a spoiler because that thing was all over the trailers too.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Dog poo.
Yeah.
Come on.
Mary Poppins.
It was like a one-shot joke. Okay, I get it. I got it the first time. I got it when you introduced him the second time. But there was too much tongue on tongue.
A little bit. Yeah.
Dude, there was a lot of
that.
I was like, wow.
Yeah. That dog's going to lick. I'm taking that name.
Mary Poppins?
Mary Poppins.
Kirk, you need to get a dog.
I thought you were saying tongue on tongue. You wanted that. Yeah.
You can name it tongue on tongue too if you want to do that.
A little history. That was named England's most ugly dog. So.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. I was watching some show with both of them on it, and he said that the dog wanted his title, and I didn't know what the dog looked like until they did the little clip part.
Yeah,
and he said that Ryan Reynolds had to put salmon paste like in the side of his mouth to get that dog.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, he said the dog wouldn't do it at first, and so he had to put the thing in his jaw basically. So that's what the dog was licking. I was like, you know what?
That dog was licking.
You really work for that job. You deserve all the money.
That's method right there.
Yeah, he said try that at 8 a.m. So but yes. We did not need all of that.
Oh my God!
You could have cut back on the salmon paste and saved that actor from considering quitting from this role because that'd be wrong to do that to him. But yes, dog pool. I'm not a fan either.
Well, he was a big star of that movie, and he got paid in salmon paste.
Salmon paste,
right?
Wow.
I mean, I didn't mind the dog, but yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot of that dog.
But they didn't do nothing. You know.
To add on to what you said, I found the emotional motivation behind Deadpool Wolverine themselves. Like you said, it kind of fell flat. And then,
yeah. I'm looking forward to exploring that when we get to spoilers too, because I'm kind of curious to what y'all think about that because I didn't get that from them. Like, again, the characters were so charismatic it didn't really even matter, and you were fine with it. I mean, the movie's called Deadpool and Wolverine. That's what you're coming to see. Is I mean, you don't care how they get there, but when you look back at how they get there and why they get there, it's kind of like, it's kind of weak. Didn't really put a whole lot of thought in that. And I'll tell you the last thing that I thought was a little bit, and tell me if y'all noticed this because this was bugging the hell out of me when I was watching the movie. The eyes on all the characters seemed blurry.
Well, they were all like whited out.
Yeah, the whited out eyes on the characters all seem blurry.
Yeah,
like
especially
even,
towards the.
Yeah, you can almost tell the CGI at work with Wolverine and with Deadpool. I thought.
More so with Wolverine, I thought
it wasn't as crisp for sure. Yeah,
yeah, it was bugging me a little bit. I was like, wow, they really seem to have made these eyes all CGI, and now they look a little bit weird as opposed to just. As the white sockets, and who cares if there's not as much expressive movement?
That is, I did notice that. That was, I mean, even comparing it with like the Spider-Man films and stuff, how expressive that face is. These were less than that for sure. I'm trying not to give away the mask thing.
Yeah,
I know that's a big detail that could be spoiler filled for anybody that doesn't know that it's going to happen. True, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, no, I definitely felt that way. That was a little lacking. But yeah,
it would take me out of the movie here to there where I was like, there's something wrong with Deadpool's eyes. I mean, it just seems like everything looks crisp except for his eyes, which seem blurry. And then when Wolverine, well, I guess that's spoiler, so I'll stop right there.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to avoid.
Yeah. So
overall, we could all say, definitely go see this movie, right? Can we all agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there any other negatives that I didn't bring up that y'all want to bring up?
Not really negative for us.
Mhm.
I can't think of anyone, but it is an R-rated movie. But
Yes.
It's a Disney movie, but it's not an R-rated Disney movie. It's an R-rated Deadpool and Wolverine movie.
Yeah.
Don't be appalled if you see something that you wouldn't expect to see in a Disney movie.
Okay.
And that was my point when I did my piece, was just like, they established right off the bat that this is a Deadpool movie.
Mhm.
Just because it's Disney now doesn't matter. Ryan Reynolds said, nope, this is still Deadpool. And my God. Yes,
that
it
was
is.
a very excessive introduction. Like,
it was very excessive. Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's the thing too. If you got a kid, your kid wants to see this. I mean, you better really check the age.
Yeah.
It was right off the bat.
It's on.
I'm sure you'll have a certain group of people that are going to be saying about this movie, Walt's probably rolling in his grave.
Ooh. That would be fair. That would be fair criticism. I don't think Walt would allow something like this, but
I don't think you would allow this kind of thing. But
right.
Yeah.
But
it's 2024.
I look at this like their Touchstone label back in the day, right?
Oh, yeah. Touchstone, even Hollywood Films. That's what they did those things for. And Marvel's completely different.
You know, one other thing I think we can kind of get into that we can keep spoiler free for those who haven't seen it that are just listening to this is, what do we think this is going to do to the overall MCU? Like, there's a lot of people who are like, hey, the MCU is back. And
how?
I'd like to think that this movie is proof that there might be life after Avengers Endgame after all. But I don't know. I kind of doubt that this is a resurgence of the MCU, especially after seeing the trailer for Captain America Brave New World.
I was going to say the same thing. It's like, think back to the trailer you saw right before the movie.
Yeah.
Captain America, I'm not excited for that one at all.
No.
Yeah. And I think that's actually the overall direction that Disney wants to take the MCU in, something that is going to be family friendly. And Deadpool and Wolverine really work well because Disney lets them curse like sailors and hack people to bits. And to have that, you've got to let your superhero movie you got to be willing to let it be rated R. And while I think Disney is good with the occasional one-off film, I don't see them taking this into the MCU like that. You might be getting a watered down Wolverine or Deadpool, because I also don't see them recasting these characters anytime soon.
Yeah.
You can't. Not after a movie like this. You can't.
No.
This has got to stay for a while.
I mean, that money will make the decision. I don't know how much this movie was grossed or will have grossed by the time this comes out.
I saw somebody say online that this movie has already made more than the Marvels made in its whole theatrical run.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I even saw that.
Anything?
Yeah, I saw that fact even after like the previews. It made more money in the previews before the official release date than the Marvels.
That's a really low bar to clear.
Yeah, that's too much of a challenge.
And then look, and also though, I would also say this is that, is there an overarching Marvel storyline anymore now that Jonathan Majors is out?
No, there
is no more Kang. And so Kang has kind of been pruned, for lack of a better word, from this existence. So unless they're going to recast the character, which I think would be silly, because the character, I think, kind of had his due in Ant-Man. That was it.
Yeah.
Once we all saw Kang got defeated by Ant-Man and the Wasp, we were done.
With a bunch of ants.
Yeah, with a bunch of ants. So maybe this does kind of kick them in the butt and say, no, we need to figure out a way to make this happen a little bit sooner and how to bring these guys in.
They should have done that a long time
and maybe
ago.
make this more PG-13 going forward.
That's been one of my main gripes, is like the MCU has no direction like it did in the first official phases of the MCU.
Oh, for sure.
And so that's the one thing that I've been really upset of is post Endgame is like there's really nothing connecting all these things together.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that being said, I don't know how this fits or moves that story forward or even reestablishes or sets it back on track. But I do feel like it was an homage to a lot of different things that happened previously that didn't get really a good
I think
homage.
this one laid something to rest.
What?
The
Fox
multiverse?
franchises.
Oh,
that's what it is. Yeah. That's what I meant by homage. That was homage to all the Fox franchises.
I was going to say, though, because I was actually going to ask a similar question like that towards the middle, but that's good that you brought it up without saying any spoilers. Or
right. That's why I figured it'd be a good spoiler-free discussion.
I could see them taking the ability to say, here's all the stuff we got. Take that to every character that they want to throw at it. It only would work with a character like this, but not certain other characters either. So they'd have to be a little more aware of the narrative they're going to throw.
Well, you saw what happened when they got too silly with Thor.
Yes.
When they got funny with Thor, it worked. When they got silly with Thor, it just did not work anymore.
Right.
Yeah. That's a specific example of the movie to prove that. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, actually.
All right. Well,
so I think it's time. Like we said, we all agree that you should go out and see this movie. Don't hesitate. Definitely do it. But I think it's time for us to get to the spoiler review.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen the movie yet, we gave you ample enough reasons. We discussed enough stuff. Make sure that you hit pause, go see the movie, come back and finish the rest of this episode and whatnot to let us know what you think. Of course, your opinions are always welcome.
Yeah, give them time to get back from the kitchen so they can rush it because they're probably making something. They're making a roast or something.
I know.
They're rushing back to the kitchen.
Yeah, you're making a
Yes, and they got to hurry up and hit pause. And so we're giving
all
you
this stuff.
We did as
Plenty of
much
stuff.
as we could to get as much information out that was non-spoiler. So,
But everything after this point is going to be spoiler filled.
Yes.
So we definitely warned you. And of course, with that, I'm going to hit this bump. And after that, we are in spoiler land. Spoilers. Yeah, to kick off this spoiler review, regardless of what happens in the damn movie, Deadpool and Wolverine survive. They live. Nothing kills them. They will continue on, and we don't know where else they're going. So regardless, that is a definite spoiler because you'll see events in this particular movie, and you think, oh, are they going to make it? Of course they're going to make it.
Mhm.
And they do. It's apparently. So there. If you didn't heed my warning, I'm sorry.
But they did say that if only one of them went down there, it would destroy them. But the fact that both of them were together holding hands and doing whatever the hell they were doing, that's what saved them.
Yeah.
Double regeneration powers completely negates atomizing something, apparently.
Oh, it's just like the Guardians of the Galaxy thing, right? When they were holding like the rock and they all joined hands and tried to conserve whatever. I don't know.
I was going to say probably the only plot point that made sense.
Yes.
Kelly just said.
Togetherness is power.
Yes.
Well, it's funny in that scene, I was waiting for an ass grab by Deadpool. When his shirt came off and he was like all ripped, I was ready for him to like, when he looked, I was ready for him to like.
Why did only the shirt come off? Wouldn't you think the everything?
No,
the mask, the pants, everything would have come off. I mean, it's an R-rated movie. I mean,
that would have been awesome to extend it that way. But I know that was just a gratuitous thing to the past Logan and Wolverine movies because he's usually shirtless in that. He doesn't even have that costume on.
Yeah, it was a lot, but it was cool seeing him in the mask, like the Wolverine mask.
Yes,
that's the thing I was talking about. This non-spoiler film was like the fact that you got to see the mask when it came on. I was like, oh, it's the mask.
Yeah.
I thought I'd be like more like, yes, it's the mask. But I was like, oh, it's the mask.
Well,
you know why? Because you were already so satisfied.
No, this is true.
You were waiting for that mask to come on, and you're going to be like, "Oh man, this is what I'm going to pop." But you had already popped 3 or 4 times up until that point.
Oh, did I?
Oh, and now it's the mask.
Now it's the mask.
It's like, hey, here comes the chocolate sundae after dinner
with the cherry.
It was perfect. It was
it's a
perfectly
little piece
done.
of Swiss chocolate that your parents brought back.
I
from
always
their
thought
vacation.
when it came to that, I was like, it took over 20 years of Hugh Jackman, 16 times as Wolverine to give us this.
Mm-hmm.
What we've all been wanting from the beginning.
Go figure. Give the people what they want,
and they'll buy it again, right? I mean, there you go. Now you got your merchandising tool.
Yeah,
because I wanted to know how that mask would look in reality. Yeah, so I was like, up
until that point, I think we only saw it in a suitcase, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And then the Wolverine.
Yeah.
And it had the whited out eyes in it too. It wasn't Hugh Jackman's eyes.
Yes, and I did not suspect that it was always on a little hood that he could just pull over at any point in time. Mm-hmm. I had no idea that that's where it was going to come from.
Yeah,
so it made it even more rewarding because I almost forgot about it, and I almost didn't even need it. And so
I didn't need it either. Yeah,
it was like, wow, how great is that? Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you 2 other things that I popped at, and I physically was elbowing Eli in the ribs. And as this was happening, as we were watching this movie, one was the Juggernaut. When the Juggernaut came back, I was just elbowing him like crazy, like, dude, the Juggernaut. Until I realized it wasn't Vinnie Jones.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That threw me off a little bit.
And then it kind of took me out of it for a minute. Like, why would you bring back the Juggernaut if it's not the real Juggernaut? Which had me questioning the other guy. And I even asked Eli about this, who I thought was the Russian from The Punisher because he had the red and white striped shirt, who was my favorite wrestler of all time,
Right.
Kevin Nash. And it's like, I know Kevin Nash would have done this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know who that schlub was that they got to go ahead and be, I guess, a knockoff of the Russian, but Kevin Nash should have been in that movie as the Russian.
He wasn't as impressive, this Juggernaut, as past Juggernauts.
No, he wasn't.
Movies, yeah.
And the Russian wasn't as impressive as Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
The second time was when Blade came on.
I was just about to say it. I popped when I saw him. I was like, holy that's really Wesley Snipes.
I know.
Oh my God.
I waited to be sure.
Yes.
That it wasn't the new guy.
Right.
Yeah.
I was the same way. I was like, oh snap, that is Wesley Snipes.
I was like, no, y'all did not play.
And the best part was when he looks at Ryan Reynolds, like, I don't like you. And like, you never did.
Yeah.
Because of the...
Yeah, there's a history there.
Yeah, there was a history. So you know, of all the cameos, you didn't expect this one to happen.
I didn't expect Blade to pop up in this one. I was like, what?
And toward the end, when they're storming the Ant-Man thing, he goes, he's shooting the opening the hands up. He goes, there will only be one blade. There will always be one blade. And Deadpool looks at the camera like,
I was when he said that, I popped on that one. I was like, yeah, you're right.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah, when Danny was elbowing the ribs, like, yes, I was
Blade.
wild. Because that whole scene, like
Bring
that whole area was getting slow. Like
It was getting slow.
I don't know
yes.
what you call that area. I forgot. I was like,
The
Outworld,
void.
So yeah, like Danny said earlier, it helped when they all showed up and we got to see the cameo. And of course, we also got good old Gambit, which
Gambit. That was really
good old Gambit.
can I get an Ant-Man to one of the best Cajun accents ever put to film?
Channing Tatum did a good job with that, huh? At first, I was like, "Oh, he just said "Le bon temps roulé" just to be whatever, like cliche." But then they kept on talking. I was like, "Oh, sounds like her."
He went full Bobby Boucher.
All day.
He did. He committed.
All day. It was interesting to see him in the costume because, again, that's something I've always wanted to know how that looked on screen.
I didn't think it worked as well on screen. Like, you look at it like, oh my God, that's a little bit too. But you know what was really fun? Was watching him fight.
Oh, yes,
and
it
the
was.
cards and the staff. And like, when he was fighting, I'm like, oh man.
Oh, when he
this
expanded that deck and just went at it, I was like, oh, yes.
This is why I loved Gambit was always one of my favorite X-Men.
Gambit
if not
rocks.
my favorite
Yeah.
X-Men. And
That
so
was Gambit. That was Gambit.
that was
I just think
100% Gambit when he was
Channing
fighting.
Tatum is a little too beefy to be the character
Yes.
on film.
I would agree with that.
But
yeah,
when
yeah.
he was fighting, that's Gambit.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum was supposed to be Gambit years ago. So he's probably been studying that accent for a little bit.
Yeah, this is true.
Elektra
Noxious.
Elektra
I loved
was
to
awesome.
see her. That was great.
Yes, I
thought the
was a
joke
fan.
about her not worried the fact that Daredevil was dead was hilarious.
Yeah.
Because, the real life, him, the Daredevil, Ben Affleck Daredevil got divorced. And so I thought that was pretty hilarious that she made that comment.
Although it would have been fun if J-Lo would have played Elektra. Like, that would have been funny if
Recast
Daredevil...
it?
Yeah, recast that.
wow.
Like, if you could do it with the Juggernaut, why not? Like, just as a funny little homage, have Daredevil and... Because he got thrown out because Henry Cavill showed up in this movie.
Yeah.
That was awesome. The cavalry.
Aside from the mask, that was the best thing to pop up in that movie ever. When he turned around, I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
I thought that was
comment about it. We will do so much better than that box down the street. Come on.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
He deserves some love, too. I was really
Absolutely.
depressed with the way DC treated him.
DC, yeah. That was a whole mess with those guys.
That was
that
awful. I thought he was the best Superman I've ever seen.
Yes, I would agree. I would definitely get. But it
He looked
happened
pretty
so
good
quick.
as a Wolverine. He
He did.
I was like,
I'm really happy he got his due with this because I think there's a couple people who are going to be like, oh, wow, he looked the part.
Just the part. Yeah.
He definitely looked
Yeah.
the part. Speaking of looking the part, what did you think about the seismically accurate Wolverine that we got to meet?
I thought that
Dude,
was
explain
the
that. Is
cartoon
that-
Wolverine. That's what
is
I
that the
called it.
cartoon Wolverine?
So this
that-
is one. No, not the cartoon Wolverine. This is what I meant by now you got to understand the comics. There's a whole scene where you get to see the Weapon X cover. Wait, no, not the Weapon X cover where,
You talking about the crucified?
the crucified on
Yeah.
the X cross
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
That's a very famous
Mark
comic book
Silvestri
cover.
drawn. Yeah.
There you go.
That goes into comic book stuff. Yes. Okay.
That's a famous comic book.
And
cover.
then there was the apocalyptic Wolverine
Age
from
of
the Age of Apocalypse that
Yeah.
you got to see that was missing a hand, and you got to see Patch, who was like his
The white
James
suit.
Bond kind of alter ego.
Right.
So like all that was comic service until you get to, oh wait, I think Kirk's got something to say.
Yeah, one more. The classic John Byrne.
Yeah, he's the other.
Oh, the outfit, the
brown-
brown,
the brown and
outfit.
yellow.
Yeah, the brown and yellow.
That's my favorite.
Which
too.
is my favorite Wolverine outfit as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he pops the clothes and you see Hulk's reflection in it, just like the comic cover.
Just like the comic.
just like yeah.
That was pretty
Time-
cool.
that was good.
I thought that was
Time
pretty
and
cool.
fall
Yeah.
cover in
But-
case people are.
Yeah.
Then the other cameo, I forgot about that one. Thank you, Kirk. Then the other one was when he gets off the bar stool, you see how short he is. That is how tall Wolverine is supposed to be in the comics.
Because he's
Yes.
supposed to be like a Wolverine.
Yeah,
of
it's supposed
sorts.
to be like an
yeah.
itty bitty little guy.
Yeah.
And then when you see how it works, and it's like, oh yeah, now you can see why it doesn't
And that's
work
the-
well on film.
Yeah, that's why I called him cartoon Wolverine.
Wolverine's supposed to be 5'3" in the books.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
yeah.
always the shortest one. But
And
they had
Hugh
the cartoon and he's in that outfit with the black shirt.
Right.
That's why I call it
Hugh
that. But yeah.
Jackman's much taller than that.
But again, I'm glad that they were ambitious enough to say this is how it would look on screen, because that's one thing I was thinking about, like Galactus. Like I was like, oh, it'd be cool to see Galactus on screen. Then they show us these cloud creatures. I'm over cloud creatures, by the way.
Clown creatures?
Cloud, they're all cloud
Oh, yeah.
boxers.
Goliath. Okay, yeah.
So like they did that with Galactus, but one of the things that they said was, imagine how that would really look. We can't do that. It's purple and all the stuff is all color issues. So I was like, oh, okay, Wolverine, I get it. He would be too small, be too weird for that in the movie.
That
I like
was funny
though.
to see that though.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a Munchkin Land kind of thing.
Yes, and everything happened so quick.
Oh, that's the thing. That whole montage was so fast.
Yes.
Let's talk about another cameo.
Mhm.
Because Deadpool was like, Adam, he was like, oh, he's gonna say it. He's gonna say it. Avengers, flame on!
I'm sorry, what?
Flame. That one I didn't expect. I didn't realize it was gonna go that direction. But it's like, of course, that makes sense.
I didn't know he was in there, but when he showed up, I knew exactly who he was playing because I heard an interview with him where he said, yeah, I'm done playing Captain America, but now Johnny Storm, I might be willing to revisit. So as soon as you heard that voice, I'm like, oh, that's what he was referring to when they interviewed him.
Ah, yeah.
And
nice,
I was
nice.
waiting for hearing Flame On at that point in time. So as soon as I heard his voice, I know they tried to throw you with the red on his arms and the blue and but I knew that's going to be Johnny Storm.
Yeah, I didn't watch anything before I saw the movie last night, and I was surprised by that one. I didn't expect that one to happen, and I had to double take because I was like, oh, they de-aged it. Oh, that's really freaking Chris Evans.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was with you. I got.
It
caught
took
up
me
in
a second. I was like, oh, that's Chris Evans.
I
Holy
was just like,
crap.
had to
But I
pop.
thought that was funny because like it's Johnny Storm and then Pyro is in the same
it's like-
screen.
Yeah,
And he did exactly what I expected would happen. Pyro just freaking sucked all the flame out of him. And of course, there's a Deadpool joke. He lands on his nuts on the fence, which I freaking died. I was like, ooh.
I like that.
I felt
trash
that.
talk.
I felt that. I was like, oh, damn, Johnny.
What did you think about at the end credits when they had him as?
Oh,
the
that was
talking
freaking
all
hilarious.
Yeah.
How he was
Yeah.
going off.
That was hilarious.
That
I
was
enjoyed
that was worth the wait for me.
No,
Fun
they did a
cameo.
good job with that for sure. I will say the one thing with him was like when they killed him.
Oh, gosh.
Man.
That was like a Mortal Kombat
Yes,
killing. Like a
dude.
fatality. That was a fatality.
You kind of knew that was coming from the beginning because that was if you were introduced to Mortal Kombat, that was that intro sequence is exactly every sort of
you're
Mortal
right, yeah.
Kombat fatality, brutality, whatever whatever you have.
Yeah, they just needed to
And
add a finish him.
Yeah.
It was imperfect.
It was like, whoa, like what? That seems just so extreme to do that to him. But they kept it going as a running joke throughout the rest of the movie
Yep.
when he died. So it paid itself off. So I was kind of cool with it. But yeah, that
Murder by Deadpool, basically. That's kind of like Nice Pool.
And then what does he say when they kill? He's like, yeah, but think of what it does for our budget now.
Yeah, he was killing our budget.
All right. So, okay. Can we get to some of
Yes.
the negative problems I had
Yes.
with this? Now we're in the spoiler part. I got to talk about the story.
Oh, the story is weak.
Yeah, well,
Dude, is it not? I am still struggling to understand why the bad guy from the TVA offered Deadpool a chance to join the main timeline after his universe lost its quote unquote anchor being in Wolverine. Now, I mean, just setting aside the whole idea that an entire universe is really all about one being. And then when they die, no further need for this universe exists. Like, okay, fine, I'll go along with that. But it does make me wonder how the universe existed before the anchor being came into being then. Because, I mean, Wolverine's like 200 years old. So what? Deadpool's universe is only 200 years old? Is that what's happening there? Because that's a pretty short time to figure out all the modern day conveniences that they were enjoying in the film.
Yeah, that's
or is it that when Wolverine was born, did a whole bunch of separate timelines start branching off to form new universes, thereby separating Wolverine from every universe he was a part of? I mean, it was hurting my head.
It was painful. It was a little painful.
But whatever the case was, I still have to ask, why is it that the bad guy from the TVA, whose name is Mr. Paradox?
It's Paradox, yeah.
Who has no powers. Why is he going to alert a superhero that his entire world is about to come to an end at this guy's hand, and then take the chance that he won't want to save it in any way, shape, or form?
No idea. That was a very weak element to the plot.
So it's a paradox.
It was a paradox.
Why not just say nothing and let Deadpool deteriorate along with his timeline? Because to me, it gave like some sort of an impression that Deadpool was important to keeping the timeline going, which would have also played to his thing of not feeling like he mattered. Well, we need you. That's why we're trying to get you in here. And there couldn't have been that big of a need for Deadpool on Earth 616, I think they called it.
Yeah.
Since once Deadpool rejected his offer, Paradox tried to kill him. So none of that made any sense to me. Why he tried to pull Deadpool in and join a main timeline. And one more thing. I'm sorry. Okay. So
back up before you go on to your point. The other thing, the one thing that it was a throw off line that Paradox said of why he had to save Deadpool, because he said something in the fact that the TVA felt like he was something special, so he couldn't do away with him. Didn't further explain it.
Yeah,
he just threw that line out there, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's why he
was Marvel
had to try to keep it.
The TVA who has no idea what he's up to.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then there is a future scene where Thor is holding Deadpool's dead body and Thor's crying. I don't know why. But is that going to happen in Secret Wars? I don't know.
It needs to
My
happen.
understanding is that was repurposed footage from Thor: The Dark World. In which they did that. Yes.
Which I hardly watched because they tried to make Thor funny. That's what we were saying earlier. So I was like, all right.
And if Deadpool is in a universe that isn't a part of the main timeline with other heroes that matter, how is he interviewing with Happy Hogan to be an Avenger? Like, did he travel to another universe to interview with Happy Hogan?
He was on Earth 616.
Yeah, but it was how?
And then it was Earth.
How did he travel to another universe? And like, what was his plan then? Like, okay, then if I get the job in another universe, I'll relocate everybody I care about. The people in the photo, I'll take them all to this new universe to come live with me.
But wasn't the pop nice?
And what about the Deadpool that's already part of that universe? Like, is he just going to just do away with them? Like, how does any of that make any sense? Somebody help! I have no idea what happened there. It completely threw me. I'll tell you another thing that threw me. What caused all the problems in Deadpool's relationship with Vanessa that made him think that the only way to fix things was to become either an Avenger or a used car salesman? Somebody tell me that one.
Okay, I'm with you. Mm-hmm. I was like, did that happen in an earlier like movie or something? Because I didn't even remember none of that. Like,
right, like they have this great relationship for 2 movies, and then they suddenly just break up off screen because Deadpool suffers from a sudden case of I don't feel like I matter.
Yeah, why does that happen at all?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm asking y'all
to bring her back and everything, and you break them up. That made no sense. That made no sense. Just have her still be in a relationship, and he still has a reason to fight for whatever.
The only thing I can come up with is that maybe he's feeling like he doesn't matter because he doesn't matter because now that Wolverine's dead, he's completely inconsequential to his own universe. It's going to be destroyed anyway.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. Or is that all a lie? Was the universe never going to die? I have no idea. And it just drove me crazy trying to figure that part of it out.
Well, the fair part is to say that since both of the characters are invulnerable and everything, and they crack the jokes and they do the action, like, again, which we say we love, there's no part of there where you can really feel for them in that sort of way, because they can't really die. So it's hard to bond with them. So I guess
but I'm trying to bond with the villain. I'm trying to understand the villain's motivation as to why he would do all this.
Oh, the paradox.
No, him? Well, I did say earlier it was like an ADHD lucid
There
dream.
you go.
And those don't make any sense to begin with. So if I was going to be the devil's advocate and defend the movie, that's the only thing I got.
ADHD, lucid dream, CBD,
fever pitch.
To combat the other thing that you said about what would happen before Deadpool was born, before Logan was born, or whatever the hell, was the timeline just there or whatever, in the beginning was Marvel. Not the word. In the beginning was Marvel. Marvel God, Marvel Jesus.
Marvel Jesus.
So there had to have been a Marvel guy before that created the timeline, and then there will be a Marvel Jesus that comes and takes over the timeline and saves it, or, dies because he had to, do whatever.
Is Marvel God work? Kevin Feige?
Bob Iger.
Oh, gosh. Ooh, that's Marvel Satan.
This is,
Marvel Beelzebub.
There's a
or that Kathleen Kennedy.
Some tough creativity happened.
All right. I got some questions for Kirk and Eli as well about this story.
Okay.
Wolverine saying he left the X-Men hanging to go to a bar, and then they go to battle without him, and that leads to them all dying. Seems to be missing a whole lot of context.
Yes.
Like practically every X-Men movie has Wolverine rejecting an offer from Charles and the gang to be a full-time part of the X-Men. And that's part of the charm of the character.
Yeah.
Like hell, in First Class, he literally tells Charles Xavier and Magneto to go themselves when they try to recruit him. That's his character. He's an anti-hero. He's a brooding loner who sits in bars, smokes cigars, drinks, and like in every universe, he refused to fight at some point in time. He's like, nah, that. That's y'all.
They could have pulled so many other things, other fights or whatever that made Logan responsible for the X-Men dying. He could have been, he didn't kill Jean when he was supposed to, like in X3 or something like that. That was just silly. That's so you're trying to say, Wolverine, the entire X-Men died because the humans came after him. That's what he said. Not that the humans sent Sentinels after him, just that the humans came and now they're all gone. Like, what the what does that mean? That's nonsensical.
Okay, I got another question.
Was that was supposed to be like that? Why have it, or just like, do you believe it? Because it's definitely not a Wolverine believable action.
It's believable that he would be like, nah, screw that, I'm staying in the bar. But the idea that he would be kicking himself. How did a bunch of humans defeat all the X-Men by themselves?
Was it FOH or whatever?
Let's take that story and then like put to how he ended it. He went and tell me if I'm wrong, he went and killed everybody anyway, which still means he's doing what Wolverine does is kill people. That Wolverine usually doesn't have any remorse about that either. So that whole backstory did not help that character at all, or help to build him to be like, I'm badass.
Part of that's what we're talking about when we're saying the story didn't really make any sense. Okay, so here's another one, because there was one Wolverine movie I had not seen prior to go seeing this movie, so I made sure to watch it before going to see that movie, and that movie was Logan. I never really watched the whole thing through. For whatever reason, I just didn't catch it in the theater.
Okay.
And when I would catch it on cable, it would be like midway through.
I still haven't watched it.
So, no, but I made sure to watch the whole thing before I saw this movie. And again, I'm going to go to the two Marvel gurus here, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but if the Wolverine from Logan is the Wolverine from Deadpool's universe, which is what they seem to say, because his Wolverine died and he's buried and he pulls him out of the grave at the end. If that Wolverine is the one from Deadpool's universe, that timeline of Logan took place in 2029. It was like, it took place in like a dystopian future.
It's a future,
Right.
yeah.
So how is Wolverine dead and rotting in the ground in present day time when Deadpool gets is Paradox going back in time and trying to convince a present day Deadpool to leave his universe even though Wolverine isn't dead yet? Or is it like, are we time traveling to the future when Wolverine was already dead and buried? Like, I don't really.
Well, he steals the time device.
Yes.
So I guess he could just she jumps.
That was
she can jump
Cable's
back
time
in.
device.
Yeah, but wouldn't it have been easier to steal that device and go back to the moment where Logan was battling the Reavers and all the people at the end of Logan and help him so he doesn't die?
Well, now I'm gonna say this, and this is gonna be a little weird at next level, but maybe since James Cameron is helping with Avatar and whatnot, he's lending some story plots over to Marvel. Just give him a Terminator theme, because these are the same questions you asked even watching that movie.
Terminator?
Yeah. Well, I won't jump into Terminator, but yeah, how does something happen in one line that happens forward, where for someone else it's now the past? I'm
not asking. I'm saying, why, if Deadpool gets a hold of this time traveling device,
yes,
why not go back to when his Wolverine was alive, which would have been, I don't know, present day, seeing that the events of Logan have yet to happen because it's 2024. Like, why not go find Logan and be like,
go back in time?
I'm going to help you take on the Reavers and all y'all trying to kidnap your daughter and Charles, and I'm going to help y'all, and I'll be there at the end so you don't die.
Yeah, that would be nice. I'm trying to.
It's like Back to the Future when they go back and stop Biff from stealing a damn almanac, man. Come on.
Trying to work it back there and forwards, but yeah, the cinematic timelines and how they're shifting and whatnot, his stuff. I'm trying to think if there was something.
I stumped the Marvel Guru. That's what I did.
Is this?
See that right there?
You have to watch it again.
Yeah, time breaks you. Time breaks you.
And that's my critique. The Marvel goes into this multiverse.
Yep.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Marvel tanked as soon as they went into it. Every movie that they make now is a multi-dimensional load of shit. That doesn't make sense anymore, because people that can stump Marvel gurus that never had multi-dimensional travel in the past, now they're coming up with these things, and no one could come up with anything to really thwart their arguments, and not even Marvel can come up with a thing that can thwart the arguments now, because
we got a lot of books.
I just hate multi-dimensional travel. Just keep it in the present day. Keep it in the city. Don't need to go anywhere else. There is no other dimensions. There's this present moment. There's this present Earth that you're currently in. Yes, Marvel is a universe, but it's its own universe. And all these superheroes, I think, should be in the same world at the same time.
Kelly, say pagoda.
Pagoda?
Yeah, okay. I see it now.
I got pagoda.
He got pagoded.
I got pagoda.
He was part of that story too. I remember that.
Yeah.
What you know about pagoda?
We all got pagoda.
I see your daddy in you when you're ranting like that and you talk and say pagoda. I see your daddy. Both y'all all absolutely right. This makes no sense whatsoever. No, this multi-dimensional crap gives me a headache. I hate it. I wish they would stop it and go somewhere else. Hopefully they do. But this is exactly when they started with this crap, everything tanked.
They mentioned that in the movie. Yeah. Deadpool literally says that.
And that's why people still hold Tobey Maguire as the best Spider-Man in certain aspects, because it's present day New York, and it's happening in New York, and he's there, and he's Spider-Man. That's where Spider-Man's at.
He says it in the very first Deadpool movie where he's like, we're going to take you to see the professor. And he goes, McAvoy or Stewart, these timelines are so confusing.
Yeah. It's perfect. Yeah.
It's a lot to
We get right into this. I mean, look, again, fortunately, there's enough charisma, comedy, and cameos to make up for 3 C's. Charisma, comedy, and cameos.
Yes.
To make up for a lot of the lacking of story. Yeah. But most movies don't have this. Like when they went into the other dimension in Ant-Man, the quantum realm in Ant-Man, and did all it didn't, even with Bill Murray and Paul, it did not work.
Multiverse of Madness.
That was just ridiculous.
Yeah, if you tell us there's multiple variants of the same character, then nothing has weight anymore.
Right.
Iron Man died. Okay, no, grab us one from universe 6260.
Make it Tom Cruise.
Another one. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Make Iron Man Tom Cruise. That was supposed to happen.
One more.
All right.
Cassandra Nova.
What the hell is that?
That's Charles Xavier's
Alopecia
sister.
woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, again, okay, so when
That
I
girl's
saw the
skinny.
trailers, I thought that was Tilda Swinton. I thought it was like a younger Tilda Swinton, the ancient one from Doctor Strange, especially when you start to see the portal form in the trailer.
Right.
So when this turned out to be Charles Xavier's sister, I was like, okay, I haven't seen her. I even asked Eli, I was like, is she a comic book character? And Eli's like, yeah, she's a comic book character.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Cool. Nothing against the actress that portrayed her. I thought the actress did great. But first, she's a bad guy who can kill anyone with simply a thought. But in classic villain manner, she'll only do it to the underlings while letting the true threats drone on and on and on and on
Yes.
and never doing anything. But then she shows a good side by letting them escape after Wolverine says to spare her because that's what Charles would have wanted, even though she hated her brother.
Totally.
She's like, okay, well, you guys were cool enough to let me live and y'all knew my bro, so I'm going to let y'all go on. So then you're like, oh, there's a good side to her.
But with a stipulation, though, to that.
What was it? Oh, yeah, that they had to hurry up before the
cloud. Yeah, she
the
wasn't.
cloud
She wasn't
monster.
fully committed to good. She's like, well, let's make this fun.
I'm
Yeah,
over
this is making it
Cloud.
interesting.
Yeah.
Then she believes she was betrayed by Paradox in some kind of convoluted way.
Yeah, they had a weird deal or something.
Yeah,
I thought that was odd.
So she seeks revenge on him and the TVA, which would make her the good guy because he'd be the bad guy.
Right.
But her revenge is to basically leave them alone and destroy every other universe, which really wouldn't even affect him or the TVA since they exist outside of time.
Yeah.
So it's like, who's she punishing here?
Oh, I thought she was going to destroy everything but the void.
But the
Yeah,
void.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
the TVA exists outside of time.
Right.
So she wouldn't have destroyed the
That's
TVA.
true, yeah, she wouldn't have
have
chosen it.
destroyed Paradox.
Yeah.
She would have just punished every other person.
She might be the physical embodiment of a villain that woke up and chose violence. Because halfway through the movie, you know, she was like, oh yeah, y'all can go, but you got 4 seconds to escape this big cloud creature that'll suck your soul and whatever the hell. And then randomly out of nowhere, she's like, you know what? Nothing else should exist except the void. Nothing else should exist. And it's just like, well, where did that come from? We're 90% through the movie, and now you're the overarching villain of the whole thing, not the time wizard in the beginning.
Dude,
Paradox.
it is kind of weird.
Well, once you start
agree.
putting her fingers in people's head and stuff, that's a little much.
I didn't mind it because it showed her powers. And like I said, actress did a good job. The guy who played Paradox, I thought did a good job, but their motivations were kind of weak. They were
It was
all
weak.
over the place.
It was very weak.
You couldn't tell if they were good, they were bad, they were trying to do something nice, but for no good reason. Like,
It's like non-fully committal bad person.
yeah.
It's like they can't commit to just being straight up bad.
And we've
Right.
talked about that before in previous movies, where they want you to like them, kind of hate them a little bit, but still love them. But we're not.
What's
gonna
that thing?
see
It's like
these
there's
characters
nobody
again.
is bad. Everybody just has some kind of raw
They have
deal.
a bad day.
But there are just some people that are bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like we got everything that we wanted to get out about this particular movie on the spoiler side.
I feel cleansed.
Do you? Oh.
Yeah, you went deep. I give you that.
Look, hey, I had problems with the story that I had to sit down and work out on my own afterwards because I was like, okay, now that there's nothing to distract me, no cameos, no humor, no nostalgia, no nothing to take me away from this. Let me start really kind of digesting what this is. And then I was like, I really did not understand why this dude brought Deadpool into this universe to begin with.
No, time is
He's a
a
classic
crazy
villain.
concept.
I'm going to tell the good guy about my plan before I implement it.
Good old exposition.
It was a perfect like car salesman thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like here's all the nice bells and whistles about this particular car, kind of like what Wade Wilson was doing.
Right.
Let me sell you the car. You buy the car, then you drive the car, and it's like, why the did I buy this car?
Peter Pool.
This thing's a piece of shit.
And what was so great about Peter Pool
I
for
don't know.
Pete's sake?
I don't know.
How about the plethora of Deadpool?
The Deadpool teams. Oh,
The
the
Deadpool
cameo by
four.
his wife. Sure, yeah.
I didn't mind that. Matthew McConaughey was in there.
Yeah,
man.
man,
Wearing the
Connie-
mask or something.
Yeah, his wife was the lady Deadpool. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right, okay.
I enjoyed watching them
Yeah.
slaughter them all, like,
That's
and
one of
then
my
they
favorites.
all come back to life.
Eli, did you catch the reference to Rob Liefeld in that?
Yes, Liefeld's
Liefeld's
small feet.
Just feet.
Just feet.
Just
Yes.
feet.
For those who when they were walking, they were doing the big badass walk scene. That was one of the buildings right
Yeah.
behind them.
Does he have a foot fetish like Quentin Tarantino or something?
Oh, why is
No, you
it
can't
sitting
draw-
about the fight?
you
He
can't
can't
draw
draw
feet.
feet.
He can't draw
He
feet.
draws.
yeah.
He'll draw. So the thing is, he worked that same way too. Like all of the characters in the action that Rob Liefeld, creative Deadpool, those who don't know, he would make all kind of details on the characters. But yeah, you get right to the feet and be like these little weird oblong triangles, or he would put their feet
Oblong
by
triangles.
bushes, so you wouldn't have to draw the feet.
Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, look, I'll tell you this: the whole Deadpool fight scene, all the Deadpool fight scene, remind me like it was like filmed on the Backlot Studio Tour.
Yeah.
You know, on the streets of America.
They were always on that one street. Yes.
Yeah,
You're
and 'cause
exactly
he
right.
did like kind of like a singing in the rain where he's swinging in the
Yes.
pole, where he's shooting somebody,
Yes.
which I thought was great. But it was like, oh, this is kind of funny. It's like the theme park.
Yes.
Those
No,
are
you're
like-
exactly right. Yeah. They
Yes.
kept showing the exact same street over and over and over again.
Budget cuts.
Is there anything else? The movie
I
that
think
we have?
that's
That's
it.
it. I think we could.
Yeah, we got it.
Like I said, I definitely will see it again. And look, listeners, we'd love to hear what you guys think. Please reach out to us. Watch the movie. If you've gotten this far, if you already watched the movie, listen to our review. Let us know what you think. Is there something that we missed? Is there something we nailed? All this stuff, man. And we'll tell you how to get in touch with us in just a little bit. Well, y'all, we hope you enjoyed that review of Deadpool and Wolverine. Look, MagicOurWay.com is the way to go. There you'll find our social media links, past episodes, and more. So make sure you go there to learn more about us. And if you want to get in touch with us to share your opinions about this movie, you can do so through the following ways. First of all, shoot us an email at show@magicourway.com or call or text us at 1-815-MOWEEKEND. That is 1-815
Weekend.
669-4226. And of course, we have a couple people do things outside of the podcast. First of all, we got Eli does things with comics.
Hey, thank you guys. So when you're out there on the internet, you can always pay a visit to my website. That's www.ivorycomics.com. That way you can see all the work that I have, fully colored pages. The only ad for them is for this podcast. That includes Savages, The Molly Be Damned, and of course, Project Geisha. And there's the interviews and blog posts and a link to this podcast. So you never miss a beat. You never miss an episode. You never miss a review. You never miss some good news, because that's how Synergy works. So yes, thanks for the support. ivorycomics.com. On social media, you can find me there. On Facebook, Eli H. Ivory. As long as you're a real person, love to meet you. If you're a bot, just take all the claws and just hack them up. No more bots. Hack up the bots. Just done with that.
Crab claws?
Well, that's good too with butter. I do
with butter?
like that.
He's dated women with claws before.
Yeah.
That is true.
And
yes.
fangs.
Just give me a call.
Yes.
Yes, my wallet is not very regenerative.
Oh, they slashed your wallet.
Always.
Oh,
Just give me
goodness.
a call. I'll cook the claws, no charge.
No charge.
There you go.
Thank you. Come on back anytime.
part of the fun of having a professional chef and a professional reviewer.
I would say the official
in the family.
the official chef of the Magic Hour podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
no
very
doubt.
much. Very much. So, of course, when you also go to Facebook, you can see the Project Geisha fan page. So,
Yeah.
Facebook.com/Project Geisha. Also on Instagram, posting up the hearts and the likes and sharing the stories to hear about your glories. EIV504 is where you can find me there. And, of course, on X. That's appropriate. I can be found at Hancock 10166. So if you appreciate the madness, they just bringing me the gladness. Thank you very much.
And if you want to book a vacation like Rachel on a Royal Caribbean cruise or a Disney cruise or a Disney vacation of any coast or country or whatever, you could do it through Rachel.
This is Rachel, one of the hosts of the Magic Our Way podcast. I would be honored to help your family book your vacation to Disney destinations, Universal, cruise lines, and major hotel brands around the world. Booking with me is at no extra cost to you. The cost of a travel agent is built into the cost of your vacation, whether you use one or not. And when you book with me, a little bit of your trip comes back to support the podcast and the fan community here at Magic Our Way. You can reach me at Rachel, RACHEL, at magicourway.com, or you can find me at R, the letter R, Family Magic, so Our Family Magic, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. You can also give me a call or a text. My phone number is 978-432-WISH. Reach out today and let's make some magic with your family vacation.
And we got to thank our special guest, of course. Thank you to Captain Cajun for coming on and gracing us with his knowledge and entertaining Eli, of
Yes.
course. I'm
Oh,
sure.
Never a dull moment.
And we got to thank Kelly for coming in, sir. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Official chef of the Magic Our Way podcast.
Is there anything you want to promote? Like Cafe Noma?
If you're in New Orleans, you want to see a museum of art, but you also want to eat some pretty decent food, Cafe Noma's the place. Come on in, give us some business. You might see me. I'm not the tallest one in there, but
Ask for Kelly.
And for those that don't know, NOMA is New Orleans Museum of Art right there in
Yes.
City Park. So you could definitely, if you're in town, definitely got to check it out. for
Yes.
sure. And then go eat.
Have a meal made by a great chef.
Yes.
So look, if you want to access all the info we just mentioned, go to magicourway.com/about us. Also, if you want to elevate your support of the Magic Our Way podcast, go to patreon.com/magicourway. There you'll find 6 awesome tiers to support this show. Any way in which you can support the show is deeply appreciated. And another way to support us, and it only costs a minute or so of your time, is to leave a rating and a review in Apple Podcasts and or wherever you access our show, whether it is YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, etc. We also want to thank you for being a loyal listener, and we always love hearing from our listeners. All opinions are always welcome on the Magic Our Way podcast, so make sure you get in touch with us today. So we say Kwaharini, my name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
Magic out.
All right, nachos are on plates.
And you are. Bye!